road dome. Just kidding, it's about tampons. Anyway, we all remember that first time that we go to that beautiful thing that Virginia calls family life, or sex education, or scar your children forever because your parents didn't sign that slip to get you out of it. So here in Virginia, I don't know, in Chesterfield County, they start you in 3rd grade. So you're 8. You're 8. So, at first they're telling you, like, girls, because this was only the girls, because you motherfuckers apparently don't age fast enough. I don't know. So it's like, girls, you're going to get this special meeting today, and all of a sudden we got our gel pens out, and we're like, oh my god, special meeting. So we're gel penning, we're like crazy, and they're like, it's going to happen after recess, so we're like, so, they blow the whistle, and they're like, girls, meeting time, boys, you get an extra hour of recess. Okay, now the meeting ain't so special, okay? Because that's like saying, girls, it's Christmas, but you can't come down for another hour. So just wait. So I'm like, okay, this meeting. So they sit us in these classrooms. It's like 3 classes put together. So you're like seeing some other friends from Mrs. So-and-so's class. You're like, meeting. You sit at the little desks, and it's sunshine and ponies, like everything 3rd grade. And then this old fucking woman, like crotchety, really shouldn't be with kids, and she's got this case, right? You kind of like watch her walk in slow motion, and the case just boom, 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 and you're like, what is in there? Okay, what is she gonna bring out? And you're like, I don't know. So, the class starts, and first of all, we're like totally taken aback because up till now, like, you only look up the word sex in the dictionary and you spell it or anything. Like, you never say it, and here they are. They're like, say penis, say intercourse, and you're like, what? So you're like, oh my god, and you watch this movie, and the only thing I remember is this redhead didn't wash her face every night, and that's not allowed. And I was like, I didn't wash my face every night, so I'm freaking out. I'm 8 years old. I'm like, so then the woman, who, like, if you can imagine, she's like Miss Frizzle plus 60 years, but she never should have been with kids. So she's just like creepy. So she goes over to the case, and everyone's just like, and she pulls out a model that goes from right above your belly to right above your thigh of a girl. And we're just like, whoa, like, and it's see-through, so like you can tell it's like this area, but then you can see the uterus and everything, and you're like, whoa, and you just kind of want to touch it because it's kind of like so real life, but you're like, oh. So she's just showing us things. She's like, this is your uterus. These are your fallopian tubes, which turn out to be the horror of the day. So then she tells us, this little thing in your head is going to drop one day. And I'm like, what? And you're going to get a period. And I'm like, what? I don't want that. And then she's like, and you're going to have to use these. And she pulls out a tampon. And I'm like, what is that? I don't want that. Well, she like takes it off and she shows us the plastic applicator, what it's gonna look like, and then she's like, "This is why we have the model to show you how you do it." And I was like, so she sets the model down and she just kind of whoop. At 8 years old, you're telling me I'm gonna whoop one day? So I'm a little bit not liking this right now. And she goes, it's really easy. And after a couple hours, you just go and you go to change it. And so she goes to like pull it out, but she kind of knocks it in a little bit more. And she just goes, whoops. She grabs the kind of string and she pulls. And she just gets a tight string because it's not coming out now. It's not budging. The tampon is trapped somewhere in the fallopian tube. And all that's left is a little cotton cord. And in front of a room of 8-year-olds, this old woman is just, holy shit, here to knock it loose out of the model. She was trying to knock a tampon loose out of the model. That is how I watched the rest of this class. I was just like, oh my God, you're gonna bang me against a desk? I just couldn't handle it. So like, you know, you get mixed back in with the boys for the rest of the day, and they're like, what was the secret meeting? And you can't say anything because you're so terrified there's something stuck in your vagina. So you're just like, I don't know, and you just like leave. And so I go home that day, and you know, my mom knew it was family life class. Thanks, Mom. She was like, Coryn, which is like the cute name that you're gonna use when your kid has to tell you these adult things. So she's a little baby, and so I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, tell me what you learned today. We can talk about it, like mother-daughter. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, well, one day you're gonna have a thing drop in your head, and you're gonna get your period, and it's down by your uterus, and I start bawling. I cried for 2 hours, and I begged her not to put a tampon in me. I begged her, please, I will do anything. I will do anything. Send me anywhere. I promise. Don't put a tampon in me, please. She was like, don't worry. You don't have to. And I was like, and she's like, no, you're fine. I was like, okay. So I took a breather. I had a nightmare that night about tampons. Eventually the shock wore off, and you know, TMI, good news is I can handle a tampon now. I'm just very, very careful of how close they get to my fallopian tubes. So thank you.